Hello there, this is Alexander F. Nileri from Caliban Crypto. Now, if you've ever gone on YouTube trying to look for some alpha to explode your bags and you come across an influencer babbling on about CPI, inflation, interest rate, well then, this is the video for you. What is CPI? What is inflation? What is earnings, I hear you ask? Who cares? Isn't that all American shit anyway? Well, when a CPI butterfly flaps its wing in Washington, there's a hurricane in Warsaw. Because lots of trades are denominated in the dollar, I'm looking at you, Turkey, it means whatever happens to the dollar affects everyone who deals with that currency. And that's most of the world. And this is why BRICS is being pushed by Russia, South Africa, and Brazil, and a few other countries. And this is why Bitcoin was invented. Now, let's start with CPI. That's the Consumer Price Index. According to Wall Street Journal, Gwen Guilford, CPI is a statistical estimate of change in price for a basket of goods and services purchased by households. What they do is they look at housing, which is like rent, mortgage, they look at clothing, medical bills, they look at education, they look at transportation, and a number of other goods. And this fills up to about 11 pages, by the way. And CPI is part of the index that Jerome Powell uses to see whether to prop up the interest rate or take it down a notch or two. CPI is also used to adjust tax brackets, food stamps, and social security. CPI affects individuals differently. Say if you're a vehicle driver, you're going to need some petrol, and if petrol goes up, your expense goes up. But if you're a pedestrian or a public transport user, it doesn't affect you that much. If you're a fashionista, you're going to feel the pain when you go to the shops. But if you're not a fashionista, you don't care. Most of all, it affects most people when it comes to food, water, and travel, and rent. Next, let me tackle inflation as simple as I can. What is inflation? Who cares? Inflation is when the general average price of consumer goods goes up over a period of time, when you feel the weekly grocery shopping go up by more than you can handle. For example, if you buy OJ, milk, eggs, nuts, pasta, pesto, bread, butter for like $5 or £5, and the next month you have to pay £8 for the same thing. It means your salary or your wages is not going to go as far, and you might have to cut down on some of your favorite or go cheaper. Now, if this continues for a whole year like it did after COVID, you find that you're paying double for a pint of milk. This is when it actually affects the retail consumer. To be fair, there are different types of inflation. There's demand pull inflation. That's when consumers want a certain good, let's say chocolate. When the demand for chocolate is high, but there isn't enough chocolate to go around. Now, the shopkeeper can sense this and then puts the price up because he knows people want his chocolate or her chocolate, as was with toilet roll and pasta during the COVID period. The other side of it is push inflation. The push inflation is when a manufacturer has to buy the raw materials for more than they paid for before. Now, this is going on for cocoa. They had a bad drought last year in Ghana and Ivory Coast. I think that's where most of the cocoa comes from, or cocoa, as we say, in Nigeria. And this has meant chocolate is actually becoming slightly expensive. The only thing is that people don't care. But the inflation on chocolate is definitely gone up. Now, when you have both of them together at the same time for a little short while, this is called built-in inflation. People now come to expect it as a normal thing. You, as an employee, go back to your employer and ask the employer for more money. The employer looks at it, raises the amount they're charging their customers, and gives you that raise. You then have now more money to go and buy that chocolate for a more expensive price than it is now. And the cycle of inflation continues. That's inflation in a nutshell. Our next thing I wanted to talk about is earnings reports and earnings season. Now, earnings season, when public trading companies, following the rules set by the SEC, divulge their earnings for the quarter. So we go Q1, first quarter, Q2, Q3, Q4, every 3 months basically. It's a season to let people know how much profit your company made in the last 3 months. Now, this earnings season is a way to let anyone interested in finance know how well their favorite company is doing. So you can look at the Estee Lauder, Chevron, Apple TV, PepsiCo, Meta, Target, Weibo, BlackRock, VanEck, Fidelity. So now this is taking us to the crypto realm. We as crypto nerds need to follow those companies a bit more closely to see, because they influence how Bitcoin and Ethereum does on the whole now. We prayed and cried and said one day they were going to come in, and now they're in. All this done under the watchful eye of the Securities and Exchange Commission, i.e. Gary Gensler. I mean, this is his day job. He moonlights as the new crypto sheriff at night. I don't know where I got that from. Why does any of this concern us in the cryptoverse? Well, as I mentioned before, BlackRock is big on Bitcoin ETF, Ethereum ETF, and most likely Solana ETF. Not only that, they're big on Ondo Finance, which is a real world asset. And that's influencing other, what you can see with maybe Apple Inc., which crypto companies to now say they've always been into real world assets. And now you have Mantra, Excavate, which is like take a 30 million building, you can own £3,000 worth of it. This is what BlackRock's going to bring to this bull run. Actually, let's get a quick run through of earnings this quarter. McDonald's shrank by 13% due to customers not feeling the recent price hike. I bought a Happy Meal on my way back from the airport the other day, and I can't believe it, £3.39. I had like 6 nuggets and a little bit of chips, a small drink. I'm never buying that again. And apparently I'm not the only one thinking that. So for that reason, worldwide McDonald's shrunk by 13%. PayPal Holdings, which owns PayPal, hasn't grown its customer base since 2021. The truth is, they need to expand, they need to bring new innovation in. And I thought they were into crypto. When you check it, they still only have the 4, your Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Silver, Litecoin. They're way behind. They need to expand to maybe a top 100, at least top 100 crypto will really give them a boost. Get your money on PayPal and just buy crypto and hold it there as well. But it's making a lot more money with the services providing. So next, the top companies. Well, Apple Inc. Well, Apple Inc. isn't selling as much iPhones as it used to. iPhone-wise, it's gone down. They're making most of their money now from just the subscription model, where you have people paying a regular amount every month. And they're growing that way, but obviously they have more competition, especially in China, where they thought they were going to grow, etc., etc. The company that appears to be doing well is Microsoft Corporation, which has a gross margin of 70% in the last year and 36% profit margins, whatever that means. The reason we're able to see their earnings because they have to do F13 filing every quarter, and this exposes what they really have on their books as opposed to what they're telling us. In order to spruce up their shares, sometimes they do something called buybacks. According to YouTuber My Financial Friend, crypto fins or crypto nerds should be scrutinizing BlackRock's earnings, see what they're buying, see how well the ETF is doing. And if you look closely, you'll see that Goldman Sachs has bought a fair bit of ETFs from BlackRock. Millennium Management bought about 2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Brace Bridge Capital bought about 404 million worth of Bitcoin. And Morgan Stanley bought about 250 million worth of Bitcoin ETFs. And of course, we look at ARK, Grayscale, Fidelity. What you can see is a lot of pension funds buying the ETFs, family offices, sovereign wealth as well. And basically 900 companies have bought into this Bitcoin ETF. And as most people who've been in crypto for so long will tell you, once Bitcoin passes a certain threshold, and that's 100,000, people are going to roll into altcoins. And when they roll into altcoins, Q4 is going to be dynamite. So for now, Alexander F. Nileri saying ciao. Be safe out there.